Hello everyone, it's Six. Blizzard released all the warrior trees onto the Dragonflight Alpha, so I'm continuing with my impressions over each tree. This video is going to be specifically about Fury Warrior. As before, if you saw my Arms of Prot video, if not, please check those out. There will be a mix of training dummy and dungeon footage, as currently the dungeon scaling pushes us to 356 eye level, which is quite overtuned for the current heroics. Dummies are a bit more valuable during this phase for testing. Also, as always, my impressions are primarily over how the gameplay feels, although I will talk about the damage with what I've seen so far. With that out of the way, let's talk about Single-Minded Fury in the Dragonflight Alpha. I'm going to be completely honest, I'm surprised I'm talking about Single-Minded Fury over Titan's Grip right now. I want to start off by talking about the Fury spec tree itself before we get into the build. Out of all the warrior specs, I think the Fury tree needs the most work. Arms of Prot felt like they just worked. I felt that I had options depending on what I needed to do. Fury feels like some nodes need to be shifted around in comparison. Primarily, if you look at the tree, the right side just feels weaker. You have talents on the right side like Onslaught. I'm not attracted to picking Onslaught at all. However, there is value with the Whirlwind choices and Cruelty. Thankfully, you are able to path for specifically what you want on the right side in this case, without having to eat too many talent points. There's some interesting choices like Ravager and Siegebreaker on the right side, but they take a lot of point investment with the way the tree is structured. We could just come from the middle to get Siegebreaker if we really wanted that. It just really leaves Ravager high and dry unless the right side is just mathematically better in the future because of tuning. Meanwhile, looking to the left side of the tree, we have Frenzied Flurry that allows us to keep our enrage up passively, Fresh Meat if we want easier enrage off Bloodthirst, Fish's Contempt which makes our Bloodthirst hit harder in an execute scenario, and then near the bottom we have Cadence of Fujita which makes our haste go up, Sidearm where our autos cause us to proc thrown weapons at enemies in front of us, the big boy returning, Odin's Fury, and a buff to Odin Fury and Thunderous Roar in the warrior tree. The left side of the tree just feels like there is more synergy overall, and some of the talents synergize with the talent points we take in the warrior tree as well. It's like they want us to take Single-Minded Fury this time around with how this is designed. Similar to the Arcane Dream, we have the Single-Minded Fury Dream with this current tree. That being said, I may be completely wrong about this, but the left tree just looks stronger and has more synergy with the warrior tree talents. I'm curious to see if any changes happen here in the future. Now talking about the current build I've been using on the alpha. This is the build I've chosen. Some points can be tossed around in different options, but I've decided to stick with this for now. Very likely I want to spend a point on Reckless Abandon in the middle, but I'm not currently max level. The goal of this build is focusing primarily on AoE, while picking good talents for single target on the way if possible. Picking Meat Cleaver, improved Whirlwind, and Cruelty on the right side smooth out the rotation and make the gameplay far more fun to play. The left side, as mentioned before, focuses primarily on haste, empowering our Bloodthirst, maintaining our enrage buff, and adding synergy to our bleed from Odin's Fury and making use of Thunderous Roar. I just want to say I'm happy to see Odin's Fury return. I missed a lot of Legion talents after we left that X-Pack, and it's good to press this button again. The Warrior talent tree takes some normal big hitters. I actually went with Avatar and Signet here, primarily to empower our DPS CD window. There are a lot of high value talents on the right side of the warrior tree that synergize with our rage gain, as well as our whirlwind damage and auto damage. I'm quite certain some of the talent points can be tossed around. I ran with Spear for a bit and I think the damage was comparable, to be completely honest. I just prefer hitting Avatar. Your basic gameplay with this build is going to be something like charge in, after mobs are pulled, go into your burst, hit your Avatar, if you Blade Storm, let that run, hit Recklessness, if you Blade Storm, let that run. Then you should have Rampage. You can Whirlwind Rampage, then use your Roar and Odin's. You should gain more rage for another Rampage, and then you continue to get Rampages until your Rec runs out. You then wait until your CDs are up again, following a general Whirlwind, 3 GCD, then Whirlwind playstyle. You want to make sure to use the highest priority ability while maintaining your haste buffs. I want to specifically point out that Meat Cleaver really lets Fury breathe a lot more and feel better. I was never really a fan of Whirlwind 2 GCD Whirlwind. With Meat Cleaver and the Whirlwind upgrade, we can have up to 3 abilities before we have to press Whirlwind again. The Fury gameplay feels much smoother overall because of this. Currently, I think there is a bug that allows us to use 4 abilities before another Whirlwind sometimes, and I'm not sure what is causing that interaction, but that feels pretty good as well, so I wouldn't mind that being permanent. With haste increases at my current 317 eye level in quest gear, my casts per minute are close to 60 casts per minute. I would say this is pretty fast for the beginning of the X-Pack. Because of this, the gameplay can be quite addicting as you just see numbers fly everywhere. Before I forget, I do want to mention the damage from Sidearm, as I'm sure many are curious about this talent. In my dummy logs, it's ended up being anywhere from 6 to 7% of my DPS and 4 target AoE. It is noticeable. The greatest weakness is that it is target capped to 4 targets. I wish it did more. The proc is reminiscent of old cleave sound effects and visual effects, if you played classic or vanilla. It's satisfying. It's a passive proc, but it is nice to see and hear. Overall, I do enjoy the gameplay of this Fury iteration far more than I have enjoyed other iterations of Fury. The last time I felt really into Fury was in Legion because the cast per minute was so high. Throughout BFA and Shadowlands, I just couldn't really get into it. I think with the talent trees they brought more to what Fury can be. My main concerns are with the current tree, and I think some node placement adjustments need to happen. I don't think it's up to the same quality as the arms and protection trees. Still fun to play, but I do worry. Most likely it won't ship this way, but these are my concerns. If you made it to this part of the video, I want to thank you for watching. If you're interested, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. It helps me out. And I do plan on making more Dragonflight content throughout the test and into the future. I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/BigHeroSixy if you'd like to catch any of my testing. I may also start streaming some of Season 4 in Shadowlands. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.